Hello and welcome. Happy New Year to everybody. And I'm very glad to be back. Boy, it's been a minute. Just had some stuff come up. My wife had a minor surgery. We were getting ready for the holidays. And she's doing well. Everything's good at home. She's recovering pretty well. But, she had a surgery scheduled. We were getting ready for the holidays. Things were kind of hectic. I got sick right before she had her surgery, so it was just a hectic time. But I'm glad to be back. I hope each and every one of you had a very Merry Christmas, very Happy New Year, whatever you celebrated. I hope the holidays were great. I hope you got some good stuff, got to spend some time with family, got to take some time away from work and just kick back and relax. And man, in the time I've been away, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So if you're new here to the channel, welcome to Zero Hour, where I, Extra Zero, break down what's new in the world of Transformers in and around an hour. Sometimes we go longer, sometimes we come under air. But a lot of stuff to talk about. Transformers Reactivate, TFCon LA. We got a whole bunch of new reveals, both from the T-Spark line, which is kind of now the amalgamation of Masterpiece, MPG, and we'll get to it when we get into the news. But that other line with the where they've kind of consolidated Flames toys into it. And I'm also, if you're watching me here live, I have a spare code for Transformers 1 that I'd love to give away to one of you. So whether you're watching me here live or watching me on the replay, drop a comment after this video. Just drop a comment if you're interested. Just say, hey, yeah, I'd like the Transformers 1 code, and I'll just choose somebody randomly next week to give you that digital download code. If you haven't seen the movie already, it's fantastic. And I believe that gets you a 4K copy of it on digital. I don't do digital. I just do my Blu-rays. So I'd love to give it away to somebody that would like it and use it. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's a great way to see it on any device. Anyway, before we get into it, if you wouldn't mind, hopefully today's the day I earned your subscription. So if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, because I've got, and I know I say it a lot, but at this time I actually do have stuff in the pipeline. We've got the this week, my footage for TFCon Baltimore is going to be going live. Friday I'll have the my tops of 2024 up, and the following Saturday, Lance and I are finally going to, we were supposed to do it on the 21st, but I got sick. We're going to be doing our Energon rank tier list, and that'll be live on Saturday. So if you're interested in seeing those, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when I put up new content, as again, I still don't have a stable upload schedule yet. So yeah, and if you don't mind, hit that like button, because it does help me out in the algorithm. And if you are watching me here live on YouTube, there is a live chat over there, and I will be reading the chat and interacting with you fine folks throughout the course of the show. So don't be shy. Drop a hi. Let me know what you're thinking about some of these reveals. Let me know if you got anything awesome for Christmas or the holidays and you just want to shout it out. So before we get into news, I did get something awesome, and Figure of the Week is a place where I look at old, new, and in-between figures. And this week I'll be doing something a little bit newer. So without further ado, here's my... And this week's Figure of the Week is from a third-party company, Transarts. And this is a relatively new figure. This is my first new figure of 2025. I ordered it before the end of the year, and I finally got him this week. And that is the Transarts Winged Wolf. And this is, if you don't know, this is a Masterpiece scale Silverbolt from Beast Wars. This is, what a great way to kick off the new year. This figure is so awesome. I love Transarts because they are like old style Masterpiece prices. This guy comes in, if you go to TF Safari, he comes in at about $70 shipped, and he is awesome. He's got die cast in the legs. His wings do everything I've always wanted a Silverbolt figure to do. His swords actually function as missiles. You can load them in here, and they launch out just like the original Beast Wars Deluxe figure. And It's a little bit of a tight fit to get them in there, and the launching mechanism isn't the best. That's my one complaint. But of course, he can hold these like swords. He actually has opposable jaw, which is amazing. I love the fact that they vac metallized the little jewel in his chest. There's a little Easter egg in here. When you pull this panel down, there's actually what looks to be a spark chamber behind it. Even though he transforms just like the original Beast Wars figure, they gave him slightly limited waist articulation. Even has like a flapping gimmick here. So if you want to pull back one here, get the wings flapping, you can do that. And I just love how posable these wings are. You can get them like in any way you want. You can even do what the Legacy figure couldn't, and you can actually hinge this piece up, and just like on the show, you can get his wings like in a firing pose. Really, really awesome figure. If you're a Beast Wars collector, we'll be talking about the new Beast Wars reveal. But Takara Tomy has really drug their feet, and I love the fact that, you know, Transarts is making these Transmetal and Fusor figures. I'm glad that we now have both Fusors. I know in the pipeline they've got a Rampage, a Depth Charge, and I think really we just need, as far as the Transmetals, we just need Rampage and a Depth Charge. It would be nice if they made a better scale Optimal Optimus. But yeah, I think we're basically covered in that front. Now we just need somebody, you know, to go ahead and make a proper Air Razor, a proper Inferno. I know Scorponok's coming, and of course Rattrap was just revealed officially. So again, that's my figure of the week. We got the Wing Wolf from Transarts, and again, I picked my copy up from TF Safari. Highly recommend them. You can typically find a lot of codes out there to get you a discount. I used Botbender Oranges, so it took $4 off. So check out his channel. Maybe one day I'll get a TF Safari code of my own. Love that site. I like them better than Show Z. Not to say Show Z's bad, but they always send their boxes very well packed with a lot of care. I've never had any issues where the boxes got crushed, and also they tend to throw in some dry rub stickers, or dry rub decals, which is awesome because I have quite a collection of Toy Hacks decals and all. So yeah, highly recommend that one. And checking out the chat, we got Stunning Brave Megatron hanging out with us, saying, "Hey Zero, welcome back. Thank you, my friend." And he says, "Hope you and the wife are doing well." Yes, we are. I've gotten over 2 illnesses. She's recovering from surgery. We had all the chaos from the holidays, but I'm glad to be back, and glad to get the lives back on track. And yeah, again, I did get some content planned out for this week, so I'll finally be getting my TFCon Baltimore footage out, as well as my top 10s, third party and official. Those videos will be going out later this week. Probably have the Baltimore footage on Thursday, and then my top 10s on Friday. So lots to come. All right, let's get into some news. So first up, we got some good news. Now, what's been going on in the Los Angeles area in the United States has been pretty devastating, to say the least. And, you know, they've got a lot going on out there in terms of, you know, wildfires. We got some good news. I don't see it on their page, but I did see this over on TFW 2005. Transformers, the Transformers TFCon LA, it's still going on. The area where they're hosting it was not impacted by the wildfires, so they revealed earlier today that everything is still a go for TFCon LA. So that's awesome. I mean, you know, I think back to 2020. My good buddy Oscar, you might know him from Shattered Cast. He was all ready to go to TFCon Orlando, and I get it. It's painful when a convention gets canceled. I mean, we missed out on TFCons for a minute. So for all my friends out on the West Coast, I'm glad that this is still happening. TFCon's a great time. And, you know, it's a little bit of reprieve. And, you know, March 7th and 9th doesn't seem like it's that close, but it'll be here before you know it. So glad that TFCon LA is still happening. Now let's get into the bad news. The bad news, it's not so much bad news as it is a lot to unpack. If you know me, you know I'm a bit of a gamer, and I think most people in the fandom are. And we in the fandom, and I stress in the fandom, have been following and hopeful this game, because the War for Cybertron games, they're War and Fall of Cybertron are classics. I also love Devastation. I'm hoping and praying that we get news on those soon. I know Microsoft has been relisting them, and the Steam pages has gone back up. And a lot of people were just really hyped for Transformers Reactivate, myself included. And I guess what really makes this news sting is, we get this news last week that Transformers Reactivate was canceled, and we got the typical PR message about it. There was a lot of speculation. I was over on Rodimus Primal's channel with a bunch of people, Bert the Stormtrooper, Treebot. Let's see, who else did we have on there? I'm trying to remember if I forgot anybody. Datacon was on there. And we kind of discussed and speculated on what we thought happened. Also on the Gronking on Dogs podcast, we talked about it a bit over there. I still think some of those factors may have played into it a bit. If you didn't catch those streams, be it Gronking or Rodimus' stream, I think we kind of came to feeling like it may have been a budgetary issue. I mean, this game was announced back at the Game Awards in 2022, and I don't think that it was really on schedule. And I think that the toys dropping last summer was kind of evident of that. I think Hasbro, especially when you look at those toys, and they came packed in the old style packaging, not the plastic free packaging. And I think they even had 2021 listed on there. So I think they might have been planning for this game to have been done a lot sooner. Aside from that, I just think that, you look at what's happened to live service games, especially in the past 3-4 years. You had Anthem, which had BioWare, BioWare is a beloved studio. And BioWare, regardless of what decisions that studio has been making, Anthem, if you look at Anthem top down, it had every reason to kind of have made an impact, and it didn't. It just failed to. Anthem got revealed with the Xbox One X. It was supposed to be a technical showcase for consoles. It had PlayStation 4 Pro support. People were hungry for that sort of content. I came from BioWare. It kind of was coming out, the MCU was still kind of riding high, and it was like, hey, here's your live service Iron Man style game. And it just really failed to make an impact, failed to make a dent. Then you go into Avengers. Avengers had every reason to it had no reason to not be successful. I mean, on an online game where you and 3 other friends go and play as Avengers, and again, series of bad decisions, but again, even with Spider-Man, the PlayStation had Spider-Man, and it was connected to the Insomniac games, which people still loved at the time. The audience wasn't really split over Spider-Man 2. Couldn't bring anybody in. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Need I say more? That had a myriad of bad decisions. But bad decisions aside, you also have things like Destiny and Overwatch really falling off. I mean, Destiny really started to fall off after Lightfall was the best received. And even though people seem to really like the final shape, Destiny's been losing its player base. Overwatch, and you see the live service games that are successful, they are free to play. I mean, do we even need to say anything about Concord? That, again, terrible decisions, terrible direction of that game, but still, it just record time died. I think that if you're going to do a live service game, you cannot do a paid model, and you also need to try and appeal to a general audience. And while I do think that Reactivate was trying to appeal more to a general audience, I just think that, again, they're over budget. They switched from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. When you do that, you're also eliminating Xbox One consoles. You're eliminating PlayStation 4 consoles. The Switch is off the table, whereas Unreal 4, that's fair game for all 3. Now, the Switch 2 is coming out, but it's not going to have the install base off the bat like the original Switch does. And I get it. There's probably going to be arguments. Well, yeah, would I want to play Reactivate on the Switch? I don't think many people would want to, but I think people would have liked the option. So again, not only did that eliminate potential player bases, doing the engine switch, it also probably was costly. So we've got the scheduling, we've got cost, we've got splash damage, probably looking at financials going like, yeah, this game, if this comes out and it's not successful, this, we lose our option to make this a tax write-off. And I just think that those were key factors. Now, there was a press release for this. I think this is in the Game Rant article. Yeah, here we go. The studio update from Splash Damage. And if you haven't seen this already, just as today, we have very difficult news to share. The decision has been made to end development on Transformers Reactivate. This means we'll be scaling down to refocus our efforts on other projects. Unfortunately, despite every effort, a number of roles across the studio are now potentially at risk of redundancy. The decision did not come lightly, and it is a difficult time for the studio and our people. We want to take a moment to thank the team who worked on Transformers for their dedication and passion. Hasbro was an incredible and supportive partner throughout, and we hope to work with them again. To the many fans, your excitement and support helped keep us going. While not being able to see the game through to release is painful, having to say goodbye to friends and colleagues hurts even more. We're now focused on doing everything we can to support them through this tough period, just as we are committed to caring for those who will stay with us to build a stronger Splash Damage for the future. Thank you for your compassion and understanding. It's a very PR statement. It doesn't really get into too many details. And that's why I think those three core assumptions are there. A good buddy of mine who also is in the gaming space, Carl from RNG Podcast. I've been on his show many times. He's not a Transformers fan. And when I brought this up, he's like, and he does like the War and Fall of Cybertron games, from what I understand. He's like, I hadn't even heard of this game. So I think that is potentially a fourth pillar to this as well. That, again, the hype really wasn't there, but you constantly, even people that aren't Transformers diehards, I keep hearing them hearing them getting hyped for a potential re-release of the Activision games. Again, the engine switch, writing on the wall for live service. I think live service, especially in paid products, is kind of viewed as a kiss of death, and again, being behind schedule. But some news came out as I was getting ready for the show today. I saw this, and again, it's also interesting too. The website for this is all still up. They haven't removed it. Like all of the website is up. But I saw this over on GameRanks, and GameRanks published this article this afternoon, or actually not this afternoon. They published this article a few days ago, but I saw this before getting the show together. And this came from Ryan Pereno. And he said, yesterday we reported on the sudden cancellation of Transformers Reactivate, an original new Transformers game developed by Splash Damage. They go into detail about the announcement of the 2022 Game Awards, the fact that there was a promised open beta for 2023 that never came to pass. And I never even heard of the promised open beta until reading this article. And I've been following the game. There was some speculation what this cancellation had to do with Hasbro, as a fan opined that the franchise is entering its, quote, dark age, but there may be a different party to blame. And yeah, it's interesting too. I've seen people like Clownfish TV blaming Earthspark, and this ain't it. Like, a kid's cartoon with questionable content is not the reason this game was canceled. Skybound, Transformers was in the top 10 sales for comics, and I know comic books are declining a bit, but there were sales there. There's interest in the toy lines. The Transformers toy line was one of the franchises that Hasbro had that was actually turning a profit with toys, as they reported last year. Ultimately, and also too, like, again, War and Fall of Cybertron are beloved games, and I think there could have been hype there if marketed properly. But this goes into a little bit more detail. GameRanks goes on to write, TFW 2005 forum member Silver Optimus made this post with some relation to the news. And I've got the post pulled up, but they highlight the important parts that Silver Optimus shared. It says, sad ending to what essentially started as a scam. Liu only wanted Hasbro's property license so that they could have a glowing portfolio to increase the value when selling the company to Tencent. But the saddest part, or said Alexa Zhu took that money and walked out. Sounds a bit like the Moss toy situation, doesn't it? But the saddest part is that both Liu and Splash Damage had to lay off employees due to cutting the project midway. Mad props to the one investigative journalist, Josh Yee, who uncovered the shady nature of this game since the very beginning. And it says Silver Optimus also linked to a separate thread based on South China Morning Post report from 2021. To some, the report alleges that Liu, who owned Splash Damage since 2016, and also had various investments in SNK, Certain Affinity, and the new Telltale games, wasn't really interested in video games except for making money. When the company got bought out by Tencent, Liu's CEO Alex Zhu and other high-level executives left, presumably taking big payouts along the way. And they go on to say if these allegations are true, it would be unfair cruelty to Splash Damage, who are well known to be a capable studio, but have been struggling to find their place in the industry for years. It goes on to say the company almost didn't survive the failure of its entry into live service Dirty Bomb. And again, that's a game I hadn't even heard of. And they just had layoffs last year from not having new games released for too long. And it goes on to say, as noted by TF Hype Guy on Twitter, much like his beloved CG animated movie Transformers 1, Transformers Reactivate, and the people behind it were given a raw deal. And let's pull up that thread. So here's the post by Silver Optimus. If we click on that, this is from 2021. So before the game was even revealed on the Game Awards, this was reported by Silver Optimus with all of that detail back then when it was considered a console MMO. I guess, colloquially, they didn't really have a good name for live service games back then. I know when Destiny first came out, we were colloquially calling it a console MMO. Regardless, a lot of that speculation is there. And from this news post image, just months after Tencent acquired Liu Technologies in a $1.5 billion cash deal, Liu has become a shell of its former self, marking a rare move by Tencent, which prides itself with its hands-off approach with subsidiaries and investments. So this gets really interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of post-mortem coming out on this, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? I want to know. I know Tencent has had some shady dealings. I know right now we've talked about this on Gronking on Dogs. Tencent is getting blacklisted by the U.S. military of all things, and yeah, there's just a lot of shadiness going on. And I'm not putting any blame on. I don't mean to defend Tencent, but I'm not putting any blame on them here. But this is quite a lot to unpack. That potentially this could have been posturing to get value and like almost like a pump and dump scheme with intellectual properties. So very, very curious. We really are going to see a lot of post-mortem on this in the coming weeks. I'm not going to play audio, but we even got some footage of the game running in Unreal Engine 5. So, and this one's new. So let's go ahead and play this. Again, I'm not going to do any audio here. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, this game does look like, at least they had some good building blocks. And it was functional. But again, look at that, those artifacts. I mean, this game obviously is in development. But it certainly doesn't look as far along as it was in the Unreal Engine 4 build, for sure. But it's a shame because all the mechanics of this were looking really, really good. And I think the thing that makes it even sadder, and I'm not sure if this is the article or not. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so I believe it's in this article by Polygon that Simon Furman, the Simon Furman of Transformers comic fame, was attached to this. And he said he actually came on to say that it was going to be a good story. Now, again, it's subjective when it comes to live service games, how this stuff unfolds. Destiny had a ton of lore and none of it really resonated with me, but it was still cool that they even went and thought to get Simon Furman. So it's really hard to say whether this was a scam or just a as I mentioned before, the speculative nature of this, whether it was, just budgetary scheduling and seeing potential failure. It's just really hard to say. Let's catch up with chat real quick. We got Princeton Phalanx coming in saying hello. Good to see you, Princeton. Stunning and Brave Megatron coming back and saying there's been no hype at all. They could have been pumping out concept art, character design, story details just to give you interest. And yeah, they got the toy line out. They got 4 figures out. I think even recently, as of the end of last year, repackaged that Bumblebee from Reactivate into Studio Series with the proper branding, because I think the initial one still said Rise. So we had those 2-packs come out. It's just kind of nuts. Princeton coming in to say Diamond Selects filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I did see that. That is very sad. Read through that article that Stunning and Brave also saying that Transformers 1 drawn up a lot of hype as well, despite underperforming at the box office. And I think Transformers 1's problem too. I did some postmortems on that, and I love the movie, but I think ultimately with that it was just a case of not the right hype, where I think people were more skeptical of it, and it was just a series of missteps. You had 2 arguably bad trailers, 1 okay trailer, and I think people just didn't really gel with what they thought the movie was, and then when they saw it, it like snapped for them. They're like, oh, I missed out. Also didn't help that Paramount staggered the release, so people in the UK and other territories were able to pirate the movie very easily because it was hitting digital as it was premiering in October in those territories, which really just sucks. We got Larkin's Lair coming in saying, what's up, folks? Good to see you, Larkin. Thanks for hopping in. I don't know why Restream's doing that. And saying, looks cool. Sad that Reactivate was deactivated. Yeah, it sucks too. I really hope that they can sell some assets here and maybe change it from a live service to a single player game, but I don't know how complicated that would be to switch over. We got Butcher Blatterkin, but he's a viewer over on Gronkin saying, sup, just subbed you. Didn't know you had your own channel. Yes, I do. Thank you for the sub. Glad to see you here. And Larkin coming back to say, it's hard to say if it's a scam or not. Lots of startup businesses make one wrong decision and they're done for. Sometimes it's best to fold than to keep going and make it worse too. Yeah, and that's what we saw with Concord. Like Sony pulled the plug on that, and I'm sure we'll see a big autopsy on that, where it probably is just going to be, end up being a tax write-off of all things. I was excited for Transformers Reactivate. I didn't see this happening. I thought, and I was on the record saying, well, Splash Damage, they have a pedigree. People know that the War and Fall of Cybertron games are fondly remembered. If Microsoft is able to release those, it might build up and generate some hype. So this took me by surprise. But again, that's also the nature. Gaming is so volatile right now. Budgets are so massive, and we're just going to see more and more stuff sadly kind of fall through like this. And it's rough, but it's kind of the state of the industry. I hope that maybe they could sell some of these assets off. Maybe Activision and Microsoft, would be able to pick up the pieces and convert it into a new, we need that Cybertron trilogy. Align continuity be damned. You look at something like Space Marine 2, a sequel that came out 13 years after the fact. And, again, to a game that at its time was considered a Gears of War ripoff. And that game has transcended not only Warhammer fans, I'm not a Warhammer fan. I love Space Marine 2. And maybe they could use that just as the 2007 Transformers movie brought in new fans to the franchise. I think a really good video game might just be what the franchise needs. We got Mega T-Rex all saying if they're willing to produce concept designs like Bumblebee Megatron, maybe they'll put out additional figures. Yeah, that's a really good point, because Reactivate, they revealed a couple weeks before the cancellation announcement, they revealed a bunch of different characters, and they had some voice cast like Steve Blum was going to be coming in to be Starscream. Let me pull some of these up because, again, these were, I thought these were really cool designs. Let me see if I can find some that are actually decent resolution here. Here we go. This is the one I found. So let's take a look at these real quick before we get into to our news. So you can see here they had understandably had John Bailey cast as Optimus Prime. They had Ratchet, who hadn't been cast yet, Power Glide, Ironhide, Windblade, Bumblebee. Robbie Raymond was cast as Bumblebee, Sunstreaker, and Hot Rod. Then over here, and also there was Windblade as well. Slipstream, Shockwave, Knockout, Soundwave, also voiced by John Bailey, Starscream, Steve Blum, and they had Megatron. And I like these designs a lot. And I mean, of the 4 toys that came out, they were all 4 bangers. The Starscreams. Oh, there's Windblade. I'm blind. You know, the 4 toys that came out were all bangers. And I would have loved to have seen some of these get released, and hopefully they still do. I mean, you know, if they want to pad out Studio Series, they can certainly release these as concept art. They're also saying that they had Grimlock, RC, Cliffjumper, Elita 1, and Lifeline, as well as Dive Bomb, Horrible, and I can't see, because this comes from Weibo, I can't see who else was on there. But yeah, man, this really could have been something else. And even if we didn't get a good game, these toys, they could have all been bangers. So yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see what kind of postmortems we get out of this. But, you know, again, just as I said, state of the industry stuff. So toy-wise, we do have a lot of cool toy stuff to get into, and I'm going to try and get through it. Now, I don't want to speed through it, but I'm going to try and get through it in a timely fashion here. Let's kick things off with we'll get the Funko Pops out of the way, because Funko Pops. But I know people that collect Funko Pops, and I know people that enjoy the Transformers ones, and they're doing some that aren't tied to NFTs. They're doing a Cyclonus, a Hot Rod, and an Omega Supreme. Surprised they're not doing Omega Supreme in a larger scale. But you know, that Hot Rod's kind of neat where he's opening the Matrix. I don't know what's going on with Cyclonus there. He does not look like Cyclonus. Like, those blue eyes just do not work for Cyclonus. He also kind of has like a Bill Cosby face going on. I don't know what it is about him, but again, Hot Rod works. Omega works, though I think he should be bigger. And yeah, I'm sure we'll probably be seeing a lot of Transformers the movie stuff next year with the 40th anniversary of that. But yeah, Larkin says, yeah, he needs to be big. Princeton saying, skip the toys, go through the food you cook up. Oh, the food doesn't last. I guess maybe you can make an argument the toys don't last forever. But the food I can't put on a shelf. I can only post pictures on Twitter. Sunny Brave saying Cyclosby. And Larkin saying Cyclonus, he does want his. See, you the crowd, I want my Jello pudding, you see. Enough of that. We got a whole bunch of reveals for the Studio Series, as well as two Age of Primes reveals today. Hasbro did a little event on the Pulse channel, and they had some in-hand product pictures. First up, we get a look at the Wreck and Doom set with Spinister and Topspin. And the first time we got Spinister, he was a Generation Select, and he did not come with his Target Masters. So, and now he's in better colors. So, yeah, and he also includes the guns that he came with prior. Was he? Wait. I need to keep myself honest. No, Spinister was part of Siege, wasn't he? I gotta fact check myself on that. Yeah, he was. So yeah, Spinister was part of Siege. I am so off on that. It was he was retooled as Generation Select. Who was he retooled as? It'll come to me. But yeah, this kind of sucks because like I have the record version of Twin Twist, so and I definitely want him with his 2 target masters. So I'll be in on this one. And it's all, so yeah, they got Hair Splitter and Singe, and I believe they were Battle Masters. I know Singe definitely came out as a Battle Master, but we're getting proper target masters now. The big one, this one is a pretty cool one. Generation Selects Trypticon in cartoon colors. So for anybody that missed out on the Titans Return Titan Trypticon, yeah, you guys are in for a treat. So, here we go. Larkin's got me covered. Coming in saying, community note, Spinister was Siege and repainted with a new head as Rotor Storm. Yes, Rotor Storm was the one that I was thinking of. That was the Generation Select. So Spinister got a release in Siege. But again, if you missed out on him in Siege, better option. And yes, this Trypticon does look awesome. So this one's actually an improvement over the Titans Return one. Again, in animation colors, they're saying that they fixed the hips. A lot of the Trypticons had issues with the hips. There's far less translucent plastic on it. The chest is now solid. They did keep the accent in the eyes and the hips. There are no stickers. Everything is paint on this guy. And yeah, I am here for it. I will be selling off my Trypticon to get this. I've been waiting on the pre-order to go up on Amazon so I could do that. And I am excited for this one. And that box, man, I don't keep any of the Generation Selects boxes. I know this is technically considered Age of Primes, but man, this is a sick box. I may actually toss that in with my MP boxes just because I really, really like that box. And Lark is coming in saying that his Trypticon is going to be converted to Beast Wars 2 Gigastorm, and the new one is going to be his too. I could do that, but I'm running out of space for Titans. That, and I hate I hate the stickers on mine. So yeah. Then we get the leader class Age of Extinction Optimus Prime coming in, and he's kind of looking like a voice. I'm curious to see how big this guy's going to be. I wish they had given him either the wrist blade. Again, I guess he really used that in the last night, but I wish they just given him his blaster that he had versus repurposing one of the swords from Dark of the Moon Megatron. I'm sorry, Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime. This looks nice, but I'm probably gonna wait for Hasbro Asia to do a premium version of this guy. To be honest, like, it looks really nice from the front, but it just could use silver, and it could use some accents. And I wish it had better accessories. Unless reviews come out, and I am a Prime collector. Unless reviews come out and really sell me on this guy, I'm gonna wait. And also, there are shots of it from the back I can pull up. The whole front of the truck is just kind of on the back, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but he does look the part definitely from the front. And in this product shot, you can see where they have the silver paint. It's kind of a shame. I know if you guys subscribe to Ghost Prime, and you really should, he did a look at the Bingo Toys Optimus Prime. I'm sorry, the Bingo Sports Optimus Prime, and they kind of did the same thing with the product shots. Had the silver paint, he got the toy in hand, and just gray plastic. If you missed out on the Dark of the Moon Studio Series Shockwave, they're doing a reissue. And the best part is they aren't cutting anything from this. I had worried that they were going to cut Wheelie and Brains, as well as the parachute guy from the pack. But no, this is a 1-for-1. So if you missed out on this guy, you get a second chance. I love it. I love when they do stuff like that, especially for sought after characters. And it pads out a wave. It saves people that already have them. You don't have to worry about, hey, I got to buy this to buy it. You can save your money for something in a future wave. I love this strategy. And I did see him on shelves, but barely ever saw him. He's a fantastic figure, and really recommend him if you never picked him up. All the deco looks the same, so no improvements on that one, but still cool. They cut no corners, and he comes in a better box, in my opinion. Same deal. We're getting a reissue of the Studio Series 86 Jazz this time with the transparent windows. So the box set one that they did with Ham, Trailbreaker, Sunstreaker, who else was in that? Jazz, and so Helm, Trailbreaker, Jazz, Sunstreaker, and I know it wasn't Hoist. I am drawing a blank on that one. But they did that 5-pack for Generation Selects that were, animation accurate, and Wheeljack was in there. So again, if you missed out on this guy, and there's plenty of opportunities, again, opportunity to get him again. No different accessories, just straight up Jazz. It's a good figure, and I do like the fact they're putting stills from the. It was 5. It was 5 because they did Hound, Sunstreaker, Wheeljack, Trailbreaker, and Hound, Wheeljack, Trailbreaker, Sunstreaker, and Jazz. He's right in front of me. So yeah. Then we get the Studio Series Transformers Devastation Deluxe Optimus. We've seen the guy on the channel before. Looks okay. I like that they committed to the cell shaded windows, but it's a deluxe. He's got waffles. But again, if you wanted to get like a deluxe prime, if you're not really collecting, these are always good options. For me, I've got a proper Devastation prime right here. This was the Siege cell shaded one. Happy with that. This one's a pass for me. I like the axe. That's cool. But yeah, this one's a pass for me. But if you wanted a good deluxe prime, you got an option, just as you got an option with the Legacy Missing Link, the Great Value Missing Link one. Cool too that they got a picture from the game there, and I forgot he does come with a little matrix, so a good option. Then we get an exciting one. This is a figure I never got. Dark of the Moon Q, or Wheeljack, whichever you want to call him. I think he's actually being called, he's being called Q this time in parentheses, but really Wheeljack. And this guy looks pretty good. I'm gonna pick him up. I think he's gonna look pretty good with the Dark of the Moon cast. And this was a sought after figure. He's a goofy design, but I really like it. I'm glad that he's coming out properly and not at an end of a wave. So cool to finally get him. Then a really exciting one, and believe it or not, this is one of the. I'm getting rid of all of my Planet X stuff except for probably Grimlock and Prime and Megatron. And Ratchet's already replaced my Planet X Ratchet, and this Ironhide is going to be no exception. He's going to replace my Planet X Ironhide. That Ratchet was so good. I can't wait for the War for Cybertron Ironhide here to come out. So good stuff there, and he's looking pretty sweet. And those wrap up the reveals. And not to be outdone, we got a reveal for MPG-15 Masterpiece Rattrap. So this is coming out officially from Takara Tomy Mall and Dengeki Hobby. Takara Tomy posted this over on their Twitter account. We got a really grainy, pixelated picture of him last week. And here he is, scaling properly. I think I'm going to do a rant video on MPG, because there's been a lot of people that think that Takara Tomy is making these things smaller. I know Super Robot Ed's done some good videos. And I think not here, but I think I'm gonna go all in and do a rant video, because I don't think MPG is going to change Masterpiece at all. Period. This guy is kind of coming out and kind of showing. I love the fact that right at the gate they've got the scale picture here, and he scales perfectly with the original season one cast of Maximals here. And going through, we get just a posed picture here, as well as a rat mode. And I love the fact that they figured a way to cover the belly, which I think this is the first Rattrap, aside from the I have the reissue Rattrap. I think when he closed up, the belly was closed, but this is the first one where you're able to get him like animation posed properly. And there he is there. I think the one complaint people are having is kind of like the dead eyes. It looks like they're going like with Rhinox with light piping again. I think the tail might be a little stubby, but I don't mind it. I like it. He's also appearing to have like the whiskers like Tigatron and Cheetor had. He is using a faux head, so I'm curious whether we're going to have the same issues like we had with those two where, the whiskers would get bent, stored. Definitely love the fact he's got expressive faces here. And of course, you can see the panel opening in the arm. He's got the little charge pack there, the Not C4. Of course, they're showing off the gimmick that was with the thrilling 30, but now officially you can get him to use that port that's been on. God, when did Masterpiece Primal come out? Because this feature has been a long time in the making. I want to say, was he 2016? But maybe 2015. Again, this whole thing here has just been such a long time in the making to get them posed like this. And then there's the group shot again. That's everything you get. You get the head options. You get the smiling, the surprise. I'm assuming this is an adapter for Primal. Probably a stand adapter. I love that they got the tampos on the blaster here. They've got the maximal tampos. It looks like, I can't tell for sure, this thing the blaster might have a hinge on it, so it might tuck away. And it looks like you get an angry rat head as well. Yeah, this guy is looking fan-freaking-tastic. So as far as pre-orders, he's going up in February. I think February 10th is the date that I saw he's going up. There is a listing on Amazon Japan right now, but be warned, if you do go that route, it's sold through Amazon Japan. It says they will charge you immediately up front. So be wary about that. As far as pricing, right now he's about 16,500 yen, so about $104. And yeah, this is definitely my most anticipated masterpiece for the year. So checking in on chat. We've got Jurassic Hop coming in saying, "Hi, my number one movie of 2014 is Transformers Age of Extinction. Glad you enjoyed it. Not my favorite, but I do like the robot designs from it quite a bit." And we'll discourse here about what my rants go. I think I'll just call them zeroed in rants. I need to get the ball rolling. I'm gonna have like a content overload this week, so I'm gonna have to keep it coming. And zero F's given. Maybe I'll do zero F's given if it turns into a heated rant. We got Chris Raptor Studios. Good to see you, buddy. Saying, what do you think will be next after Rattrap for the Beast Wars cast? I really hope it's Waspinator. Waspinator is the one that I definitely would want, because we need a proper Waspinator, Air Razor, Scorponok, and Inferno. I really want them to finish the season 1 cast. And again, going back to my figure of the week, I do have a nice Silverbolt here. And I just feel like, again, like as long as it's taken us, and this guy's not even going to be out until I think October is when I saw, September, October. It's taken us this long to get here. I really wouldn't want them to dabble in transmetals, because I feel like I will probably be like of retirement age by the time that they get around to that. So yeah, that would be kind of rough. So yeah, it was 2016. Good Lord. So 9 years between Rattrap and Primal. Whew. Yeah, and I just want to get that core cast. We're almost there with season 2, almost there with season 3. Just get that season 1 cast somewhere there, and that third party Scorponok is going to be out soon. I've at least got my Thrilling 30 Waspinator as a placeholder. Just need an Inferno and Air Razor, and we'll be cooking. Oh, and I've got the Metagate Pterosaur too. I don't want to rule that one out. I would like a proper Pterosaur, but the Metagate one's a really good option. We looked at Trypticon. We looked at these guys. Uh, we looked at the Wreck and Doom. This one also is a little interesting news. Hasbro Pulse Asia is shutting down. This one's kind of unexpected and out of nowhere, but it says Hasbro Pulse was introduced in Asia with the goal of delighting our fans by offering convenient access to some of the best products, including our own unique and exclusive HasLab crowdfunded products. After careful consideration, we've made the difficult decision to pause our Pulse operations in Asia at this time. We appreciate your business and value your passion for brands. Curious about this one. Curious if it's just kind of a preemptive thing with, political issues coming out of China, or the fact that Asian territories have a lot better means of getting these figures. They still have Toys R Us. They still have a lot of shops. Was it really necessary? Again, they do have the HasLab. No, I did forget to mention in those reveals, they did tease we were getting another Transformers HasLab this year. Forgot to mention that. I feel bad for the fans that use this as a method to get their HasLabs, but I'm sure they are going to have other means there. So not much to make of this at this time, but again, this is kind of crappy for fans out there that did use the service. We get a teaser from the Synergex line, the Macross Transformer. That looks like it's going to be. I was hoping this was going to be kind of like a toy style Jetfire, an actual Veritech with Autobot insignias on it, but it looks like we're just getting an Optimus Prime Macross, which I love Optimus Prime, but not really that exciting, to be honest. I'll wait to judge it after seeing more pictures, but I think they could have done something a little bit more exciting. This, however, is exciting, and I'm curious how this is going to scale. This is part of the T-Spark line. This is the Adamas Machina AM2 Predaking. This is coming after the Hot Rod, the IDW Hot Rod. And this is the only teaser we get here. They did go on to say this is going to be fully transformable, fully combining. I don't know if it's going to be an all-in-one. I think given the skinny waist, it might. But I'm really curious to see what the scale, what the aesthetics of the individual bots and beast modes is going to be. But it's exciting nonetheless that we are getting a new official Predaking. It just goes on to say that, and this is translated from the T-Spark website, it says, the giant polymer soldier Predaking that appeared in the TV anime Transformers 2010, now available as the second product in the Adamas Machina series of Transformers. 5 beast troops can transform and combine. And again, also no details if these are going to be sold, because it says AMTO1. Is this going to be sold as a set? Because that'll be interesting to see how they price this as well. That Rattrap and looked at those pictures. So without further ado, let's get into our third-party stuff to wrap up tonight's episode. So let me get that pulled up, and not too much on the third-party front. Again, we're coming up on Chinese New Year, but we got a couple cool things. I don't know when this first one's actually going to release, because we've been seeing it for some time. This is from X-Transbots directly. Just a shot. I think we've seen this already, but somebody's got a test shot of Misfire in their house. So there you go, Misfire. I wish X-Transbots would just take their time, stay focused, and get stuff out right. I don't hate them as a company, but again, it's like that. It's like you gotta wait for reviews with them anymore, because they were so close with Runabout and then screwed it up with the Runabuck. This looks so simple, but you never know. I know people really liked their long haul, and it was like in top 10s of the year for people. But I just went with Fans Toys just because, again, the track record of them, it's so hit and miss. Now, a company with a good track record, we get DX9, and this is their take on Sideswipe. We've looked at this before, but we get some new pictures, and we get to see how he is scaling. Can I zoom out? Let's zoom out a little bit here. I think, is he called Red Flame, I believe. but he's due out pretty soon, and he's also pretty cheap. This guy's coming in from overseas retailers at $70 shipped, so like original MP pricing. And I think he looks the part of a Takara Tomy MP, a modern one. So let's go through some of these new pictures. Back cleans up super nice, as do the legs. Like you don't see anything on the legs. I mean, this almost has some vibes like a MDLX from 3.0. I think the only thing most people aren't digging are these hands. Like these are kind of like dated third-party hands. I wish they were going with the more like Takara Tomy style. Not a deal breaker. Here we get him. I believe this is the Magic Square Prime with the jetpack here. We get a look at some of the accessories he's got. I kind of like how you can, and I hope this comes with the figure, these poles to convert the pile drivers and hammers into actual hammers. I think that's pretty cool if that's an actual feature. Looks like we're getting die cast in the feet, showing off some of the posability here and the balance. And we get a shot of the Lambo mode. I kind of wish they had tinted the windows a little bit more. Maybe it's just the photography, but I that is not a deal breaker for me. He's not overly panely. Very nice looking Lamborghini, especially the back looks really nice. So there you go. This guy, I believe, should be out relatively soon. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he should be shipping sometime around the end of Chinese New Year. And lastly, this one kind of came out of nowhere. X-Transbot's Ground Bite. So this is now available. Kind of came out of nowhere. This is Agabus. They have him in stock. And this is X-Transbot's Scrapper. So if you're interested in getting him, he's available over on Agabus' site for $158.95. And again, like I said, I'm in on the fans' toys for these. And of course, they don't have any photography. I have been seeing photography, and he looks decent. But yeah, if you are interested, and it's also kind of funny, he is cheaper than the fans' toys. But yeah, if you're interested in those X-Transbots, Constructicons, kind of funny too that. Oh, I guess this is a comparison with, or no, did Agabus mess up? No, I think Agabus messed up. I think they put fans' toys pictures in on the, maybe it's a comparison. But they put fans' toys pictures in on the page. Looks like he does come with this little display base that probably double functions as a heel. But there you go. If you are in on the X-Transbots, Constructicons. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight's episode. Again, I'll put this on the community page. Just drop, if you're interested in digital code for Transformers 1, drop a comment on this video, and I'll pick a subscriber next week to give that to. And again, I'll put the instructions over on the community tab. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. If you are watching me on the replay, let me know of all the things that we saw today. What are you most excited for? Did you get anything cool over the holidays? How are you feeling about Transformers Reactivate getting canceled? Do you have any thoughts on that? Let me know. I want to know in the comments below. Yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat who tuned in tonight and hung out with us. And yeah, I do apologize for my hiatus. I'm going to have a lot of content this week, so stay tuned for that. I'm really looking forward to getting the top 10 out, because I'm also debating, should I break it into two parts, the official and the third party. But it's gonna be a fun one. So, and there's gonna be some surprises there as well, stuff you might not have expected to hit my top 10 list. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. If I've earned your subscription, hit that like button because it helps me out in the algorithm. And until next time, next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, I'll see you all live. Until then, stay tuned for the pre-recorded content. The Baltimore footage is just going to be an open narration. I've tried my best to get it edited into a vlog, but I'm just going to jump the footage because there's no cohesion to it. It's still fun stuff to see, at least. And it's me hanging out with some of the other con bros and Lance And yeah, and speaking of Lance, on the 25th, we'll be doing our Energon ranking video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. Thanks again for hanging out. I'll see you all on the next one. 0 out.